You are now a permanently convicted felon. You've embarrassed your valuable friends in high places, elected public officials, people in the media. You've embarrassed them. You have to live with that. I don't know if those relationships can be repaired. Your very name has become an adverb for lying. And I cannot imagine what could be worse than that. People talk about situations where somebody's lying and trying to manipulate and maneuver a story, and your name comes up as, pulling a Jussie, something like that. That's awful. You're the butt of jokes. I don't think there is anything funny at all about hoaxing and faking racial hate crimes. Hoaxing or faking homophobic hate crimes. I think that is disgraceful. There is nothing funny about it. There's no humor in what you did whatsoever. All because you're selfish, arrogant, narcissistic. At least you have that side in you that came out through this case, and you kept doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. You are convicted of a Class 4 felony. I'm mindful of the city's request for restitution, and if I'm going to consider that request, I have to fashion the sentence accordingly. And above all, the capper of all cappers, your performance on the witness stand. This could only be described as pure perjury. You got on the witness stand. You didn't have to. You did. You certainly have a right to. But you committed hour upon hour upon hour of pure perjury. And I find all those to be ample factors. If this court were to decide that the things you did, that any kind of probationary sentence would deprecate the seriousness of the offense and you need to go to the penitentiary, the record is clear and it would support it.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Everything Suspect Podcast. It's your boy Billy D. You know how we do. Like, subscribe, and please, let's get into this. It was 1992 when I was showing out in school. And my mother, we were living in a really bad neighborhood with my uncle and cousins, 8 of us, 2-bedroom apartment, you know, the good old days, as it were. And my mother was working, I was showing out in school, and my uncle came over, and he was sent by my mother to tighten me up. This dude talked to me for so long about how bad I was and what a prick I was for being so bad, because my mother was a single parent, not getting no help, and I decided to make her life even worse than what it already was by showing out in school. Like, he said the least you could do is be a good kid with everything your mom going through, if you love your mama. He talked to me for so long, and he hurt my feelings so bad that I was crying. And I know that he knew how bad he had hurt me. And because of that reason, I thought he was not going to whoop me that day. I was visually upset. I didn't think a whooping would hurt me any more than the words that he put on me in that moment. Then he said, "Pull your pants down and turn around." What? Who does that? I never gotten a whooping where I had to pull my pants down and turn around. Holy smokes, when I tell you that was the beating of my life. That was the beating of my life. Whew. That's what this judge did to Jussie. He undressed him with his words, then he whooped him. Now, we all know at this point, Jussie got out of jail. But that still does not mean I can't and I won't do a pod on this case. Prediction is this: he is now out of jail. he is going back to jail. I believe the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, if you don't know, they have a long history of being corrupt when it comes to politics, the way they handle crime, things of that nature. So all this makes me think about is R. Kelly and how R. Kelly was so arrogant with the crimes that he committed, and he felt like nobody would ever lock him up. He even said stuff like, if they would have did it, they would have did it a long time ago. Now it's too late. And I believe Chicago has something to prove because they let so many things slide, right? But the same way R. Kelly was getting out and posting bail, and then next thing you know, they bring him up on child support, and then the next thing you know, they bring him up on this, they bring him up on that, until he's in, and until they depleted his bank account. I don't know what kind of money Jussie has, but I would not be surprised, and it is my prediction that he has not seen his last day in jail. One thing that was interesting to me when it came to this case, and now that it's over, and he's found guilty, is what we know is he was found guilty not only in a court of law, but in the court of public opinion. Everybody can sit here and say that they don't believe that he was, but here's the reason why Jussie Smollett is not only guilty in the court of law, but in the court of public opinion. And it is because of his supporters. One of the main reasons why I wanted to do this one, especially the timing of the verdict, was that it came within a week of the Emmett Till bill finally passing. So for anybody who've watched or who've been following the Everything Suspect podcast, one big thing that I'll always harp on is the Emmett Till bill or anti-lynching bill. We've talked about George Floyd, we've talked about Tamir Rice, we've mentioned Trayvon Martin. I've touched on all of these things and the injustices that happen. And I found it very interesting that Jussie, a person who lied about what happened to him, he was found guilty the same week that the Emmett Till bill had passed Senate and it also passed the House. Now we're just waiting on President Biden to sign in the new anti-lynching bill that we've been trying to get passed since the Dyer bill. When the Dyer bill was here, that was like 1918. That was the first time that we tried to get a bill passed to say lynching black people should be considered a hate crime, a federal hate crime. And it's not been passed until the week that Jussie is found guilty of lying. A black man lying about a hate crime. The same week we get a bill passed by the House and the Senate that makes it illegal for a black man to have a hate crime put upon him. It's the same week a black man lies about a hate crime being put upon him. But let's not lose focus. The reason why he is not only guilty in a court of law because he was found guilty is because in the case or in the court of public opinion, everybody that follows Jussie, the fact that Taraji P. Henson is making a comparison between Jussie and Emmett Till and the woman who lied about what happened to her with Emmett Till, or the fact that the NAACP president, or the fact that Jesse Jackson, or the fact that just find the people who are still representing Jussie outside of his family. Family's different. Family's off limits. I ain't gonna go in on family. I don't want their family to go in on me. They're allowed to rep and say and do whatever they feel the need to support Jussie the same way I would. Family's off limits as far as I'm concerned. So no harm, no foul when it comes to the family. But the interesting thing that they all have going on is nobody's saying he's innocent. They're just saying he does not deserve to be in jail. because the only victim that could have been there to be hurt was Jussie himself. I believe differently. So look, go and look, check the tape. Everybody's saying he does not need to be in jail. Nobody's saying he's innocent. And if they are saying he's innocent, I got a problem with him. And you know, if you want to set something up where me and them can go back and forth, by all means. But he's found guilty. And the fact that the people who don't want him to go to jail are just saying he does not deserve jail time. They are not saying he is not innocent. Or they are not saying he's innocent. They are saying he does not deserve to go to jail for this crime. Now, here's the reason why I say he should have did 150 days. He lied. One way or another. For anybody who feels as though he didn't deserve jail time, for anybody who feels as though he is innocent, for anybody who feels as though whatever happened, he just couldn't prove it. What I have to say to that is this. He said they were white. They weren't. Nobody in the courtroom, including his people, the prosecution, the judge, or the jury, had an issue with it being the Africans. Nobody had an issue with that. So therefore, he lied. It came out that they read his text messages while he was on the stand, and he was texting the Africans asking them, yo, where are y'all at? The night of, like, you're supposed to be in this place that we planned for you to be in. Like, they read the text messages in court. Why did he take the stand? Because he's a narcissist. But let's get back to it. They read text messages from Jussie that asked, yo, you're supposed to be here. Are you on your way? We need to make sure this thing works. They talked about the noose and how they never got a chance to put the noose on him because a car came by or something happened. And then he tightened the noose when initially it was a situation of he wanted to keep the noose on because he wanted to preserve DNA. Why are you touching it if you're preserving DNA? I don't want to rehash the old stuff. It's just this situation, this case just drives me crazy. So he lied. Whether he lied in the beginning or the middle or the end, he lied about it being racist. He knew who did it. When they came forward, he didn't deny that it was them. And then court testimony proved that, evidence proved that it was them, but he still denies it. Got to go down with the lie. So either way you look at it, if you feel like Jussie is innocent, he lied. That is proof. That is a fact. It is a fact that he lied. And I am 99.9% of the time against locking black men up for frivolous things. But this one's different because he abused his celebrity. And more importantly, he lied about a hate crime. I've always been a person who believes that if a woman says that she's been raped and you go to court, you go to trial, and it is proven that the female has lied, then I've always been a firm believer that whatever time that man was facing, she should have to do that time. If it's 5 years, 10 years, life, whatever it is, whatever the punishment was that you put on another human being, you should have to go and do that time. You should have to pay whatever those fees were, and you should have to take the punishment that you lied, because you were about to put an innocent person away for something that they didn't do, and you don't even have to face the same consequences as them, even though you are the person who lied about it. That is the reason why I believe Jussie should have went to jail. Whatever it would have been, because let's be honest, and I hate to sound like Candace Owens right now. I hate to sound like her. But let's say they found the white dudes who he said called them out and called them names and put bleach on them and threw a noose on them and all that stuff, almost like what happened to Ahmaud Arbery, the true victim of a hate crime, who is no longer here. who is no longer here. 3 guys. 2 guys in this situation. Catch him on the street by himself. Only was in broad daylight. And he leaves without his life. 1000% Jussie should do time. Because when he sits up there and he gets on his daggone stand and talks about 400 years, and even that was weird to me. Like, it just came off very Empire-ish. Listening to this judge and how he just laid out the things that he lied about and the way that he just walked them through, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. It's horrible what this guy did. And I believe that Chicago police and their law enforcement are not going to allow him. And look, nothing was going to happen to Jussie when he was locked up. So when he does go back to jail, because I believe he will go back, and I don't know how long he's going. I don't think he was going to never do the 5 months that he gave him. That's just me. I was going to give him 2 months and get out. Floyd Mayweather beat his girlfriend or beat his baby mama, allegedly, for the sake of this podcast. He only did 30 days, and he was complaining about the food and the water. So I believe Jussie was not going to do the whole 5 months. Celebrities usually don't. They find a way to get out, right? When he actually does go back to jail, maybe he does another week or 2. I hope that he does get a few more weeks. I would like for him to do the whole 150. Especially after doing stuff like saying he's the new black Tupac or the new gay Tupac and all that stuff. Like, do all, as far as me being an old school hip hop head, bro, and do all your time, do all of it. But be that as it may, let's see what happens. I don't know. What do y'all think? Should he go back to jail? Should he not do any time at all? What are the alternatives? Did you think he was guilty to begin with? And after hearing the judge and what came out, if you didn't see it, I'll post a link to the entire sentencing process down here in the comments, or so you can see the entire thing where it go into things that he said in text messages and things of that nature. So, like, do you still think he's guilty, or do you think he's innocent? Should he do time? Should he not do time? Is it a victimless crime? How do you feel about it? Please put it in the comments, show. Never forget, Everything Suspect Podcast. It's your boy Billy D. Thank y'all for tuning in. Sorry I've been gone for so long. Y'all chill.